Good evening and welcome into this edition of the Aggie Media Welcome Back Special. It is the start of the second semester and the end of our holiday break. I'm Tony Ballman, Public Information Officer here at the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture, and thank you for checking in on this particular program. It is our 2024 year in review, and it's a celebration of the work that our Aggie Media team has done. I am particularly blessed to work with an incredible group of young people, talented young people who really are excited about communication, excited about telling agricultural stories. And throughout the past year in 2024, these students and I worked together to bring you stories, telling the stories of the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture. And so tonight is a recap of some of those stories. And we'll begin a year ago this week in January 2024, when one of our alumni, Trey Haddon, visited, and he and I sat down with J.D. Miller, who at the time was a senior here at the Governor's School for Agriculture, to talk about their appearance at a national livestock judging competition. And in that conversation, we talked about how life here at the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture impacted not just their livestock judging, but also overall how it impacted their futures and the promise of their futures. So here from January of last year in our year-end review is J.D. Miller along with Trey Haddon talking about livestock judging, etc. What does it mean to you as a current student to be able to represent this school, this institution, not just yourself, but this entire institution, this experiment on a national stage and do so well?
Well, I think it means a lot. I help a lot with some of the farm staff trying to help them go and select bulls for their herd and that type of thing. And so, I think it means a lot because at that point, I know other people respect my opinion. You're based off of your classes. A perfect score is 50 of your classes. So in all of my classes, I think we had 12 or 14 classes. I placed all 50s except for 2, and they were both 48s. So I had almost perfect scores across the board. And, doing that on a national level and, seeing that we're from South Carolina really says something. And we're from a experiment school. A couple months ago, I had the experience talking to some people from all over the country. And, they said, I told them that what we were doing. And they said, South Carolina, they said, y'all usually don't do that well. Y'all don't have the livestock that, all these other states throughout the country have. So, for me to go out there and kind of show that we can compete, that was a really big deal for me. And then for me to come from here, trying to help other kids get started and that showing that we actually are growing as a school, but we're trying to grow the knowledge of the same students here, I think that's a big deal, not only for the state, but for the nation as well.
You are an alumnus you finished up your career here. And your story is unique in that you were a student who probably would not be considered a traditional student for a school like this. What does it mean to you as an alumnus to now be out there and be, in many ways, an ambassador for this experiment?
Well, I went to a lot of different schools, and I'm proud to say that the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture was the best, and I'm glad to share that. To be out at that national level, getting to represent that, to show we're coming out of here, we're coming out of this great school that not many people know about back here in the backwoods in McCormick. So that meant a lot to me. Not being the one I didn't have a traditional school background due to the different schools I've attended, due to my family's moving. And being able to settle in and create a second home, why wouldn't I want to be an ambassador for that? For a place that did so much for me, he's done so much for JD, done so much for all the other students here. I'm proud to be an ambassador for that, wherever I go as an alumni now. Now that even now as I serve on the alumni board. So.
Two of our distinguished alumni, now two of our distinguished alumni. JD was a senior at the time, but Trey Haddon and JD Miller talking about livestock judging and how their educational opportunities here affected their ability to compete at the national level. That was in January of 2024. That same month, we had another special visitor to our campus. The incoming dean of the new veterinary school at Clemson University came and spent the day with us here at the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture and gave us an overview of the vet school and also talked about how potentially our Aggies will be a part of that first crop of new veterinarians coming out of Clemson University. Our look back on 2024 continues.
Well, the Clemson Veterinary Program is brand new. We're very excited to have the first College of Veterinary Medicine in South Carolina, and especially since it's at the land-grant institution. We are planning on having our first class in 2026. We will be using somewhat of a novel, what's referred to as distributive model. That means we'll have at least 3 years of preclinical training, and then the 4th year of clinical training will be distributed out to community veterinarians, community hospitals throughout South Carolina, some western North Carolina, and in Georgia. What's really nice about Clemson University is because it's a land grant, it has a strong agricultural animal base. We already have incredible facilities. So we have an equine center, we have a dairy center, we have a beef and sheep center. So what we're doing right now is planning our curriculum and trying to integrate these other centers so we can use those animals in connection with our curriculum. So we are early on in hiring faculty and early on in developing the curriculum, and we will have the curriculum in place in the near future. The most important thing is to get the curriculum approved by Clemson University, and then also to get approval from the American Veterinary Medical Association Committee on Education, because it'll be required that we are on the accreditation path before we accept students. So I think what's really incredible about the Governor's School is these students are getting an education in agriculture that they would not normally be able to attain until they went into college. So what that means is these students will be very prepared for college, which will facilitate them being successful in college. And if they still have the interest in agriculture and animal science, they will be the perfect students to be recruited to a career in veterinary medicine, and specifically to be trained at Clemson University.
It meant a great deal for us here at the Governor's School for Agriculture to have Dr. Stephen Marks, the founding dean for Clemson University's College of Veterinary Medicine. He toured with us last Friday, spent a couple hours with us overseeing the 1,310-acre campus that we have here. Of course, he was especially interested in our swine production operation, our equine operation, livestock operation, and poultry operation that we have here on campus. The purpose of the visit was to more solidify a partnership with the new veterinary college with our students. So we want to also provide internship opportunities for Dr. Mark's future students who would be coming in 2026. So we've offered our campus also to serve as a laboratory for anything that the College of Veterinary Medicine might need, especially with the absence of a swine farm at Clemson University. We have the swine farm here, so we think that would be a really neat partnership between our two schools. South Carolina's number one industry is agriculture. The sub-industry under agriculture is poultry science, being the number one producer of agriculture dollars in South Carolina. So obviously our General Assembly has made a conscientious effort to focus on farm animal production with the new College of Veterinary Medicine. So I was excited to hear that from Dr. Marks. And also I'm really excited for our students whenever they decide to apply for their undergrad degree, whether it's Clemson, SC State, or one of our other fine institutions here in South Carolina. Hopefully our alumni from here will end up being some of the first graduates from the College of Veterinary Science in 2030.
So I think Clemson has a very well thought out strategic plan itself, and that includes improving the life of people and animals in South Carolina. So I think we will contribute to putting more more veterinarians, boots on the ground to help both the animals and the people. And that means animal health, public health, people health, and especially the human-animal bond. So I think there's a huge impact that the college will have on the state of South Carolina and the residents of South Carolina.
Dr. Stephen Marks, the new dean of the Clemson University Veterinary School, and our own Dr. Cowan, talking about the potential long-term relationship between Clemson's vet school and the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture. I'm Tony Ballman, the Public Information Officer here, and we are in the midst of our Welcome Back special. Students, as we speak, are arriving on campus, coming back from a 2-week holiday break, and it's going to be exciting to jump back feet first, head first into the second semester tomorrow morning. In February of 2024, one of the most compelling stories that we told all year with our AggieMEDIA team involved Allie Taylor, a student here at the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture, who took a brush with tragedy and turned it into a tremendous community service project. And that was a story that we told last February. And let's look back on our story, our chronicling of Allie Taylor's project last February in our year in review.
Well, when I started at Howe, we went to WLC, which was the Washington Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. And they told us that we had to start a project for something that we don't like in our community and that we feel strongly about. And I chose the topic of gun violence because at the time it was when all of those school shootings were happening, and we had one in my school district. And it was just really hard for all of us, and I wanted to do something. Because even though I'm here, when we get all those warnings at home, I worry because my mom is a teacher and my brother still goes to those schools. And I want to know that even though it may happen, they're protected and there's things that they can do to help themselves. So at first I thought, well, maybe we can put metal detectors in the schools. That wasn't really realistic because, I mean, all of our binders have metal in them. So with a little bit more research and collaboration with Mr. Southern, who's the principal at Mount Lebanon, we found a local company in Anderson called TACMed Solutions, and they make kits specifically designed for schools that in the event of the emergency, they have all the resources that you can use to stop bleeding and death until the EMTs get there. They have Band-Aids, they have scissors, they have gauze and tourniquets and heating blankets. So we raised money and we put 15 of those in Mount Lebanon. It's one per grade level. So there's a teacher that's the head of a grade level that has one in their classroom. And then all the teachers, including the cafeteria, got a hammer so that if there was an intruder, there's something to protect themselves. Because a lot of teachers would put buckets of rocks at their classroom door. Because there's not really much that you can put in a classroom that is legal or safe to have around children. So we found something that you could consider an everyday item as well as something to protect yourself against an intruder. It's not going to stop any of the school shootings, but my goal and the practical part of it is that if something were to happen, maybe these kids and these teachers will have a little bit better of a chance at survival because they have some of the items that could be life-saving. Because a lot of times it takes ambulances and police officers a really long time to respond. So if we have these people that have the items and can use them, because they have the training, they just don't know how, they don't have the stuff for it. So if we have the equipment that they could use in the emergency, there's a better chance that maybe these kids might survive. This project was really important to me because I listened to all those stories of other parents that will never get to tell their children that they love them again. And listening to all these parents crying because the last thing they told their kid that morning was that they hated them, that they were so disappointed in them. And I don't think that any parent should ever have to feel that way. No one should regret the last thing that they said to their children before they went to school that day. So I reached out to one of my neighbors. His name is Brett Sanders. He's a county councilman for Anderson District 4. And he actually helped me with a mass majority of the funding for this first school. He got the county to fund a good majority of it. And then for the second school, a parent at the school I'm doing, Mark Davis, he's a deputy with the sheriff's office, and he has reached out to the sheriff and is helping me get funding and support. And through those two people, I have gained many people will have learned about the project and want to help in any way that they can. Well, my hope is that I'll get to continue throughout the district and maybe even the districts that aren't my own, as well as people will hear about my project and they will feel the connection and they will start doing it in their own communities.
Allie Taylor talking about the project that she was inspired to meet the moment, inspired by an event that was life-changing for her. And we wish Allie continued success on her community service projects. You know, it was in March of 2024 that we told one of the most watched stories on our YouTube channel. Our AggieMEDIA team went out to the back part of the campus to our equine center, which is hugely popular, and covered a story that, changed the complexion of our equine center. And the young man, Eli Waystack, took the initiative to get in there and really change the way things looked at the Equine Center. This was in March of 2024, and here is that story as we look back on 2024 on our Welcome Back show.
We had to go tear out all the old shavings, take out all these dividers, and we came in with, that took a lot of time in itself. Then we just clearing out all the old shavings and just junk. Then we had to come in with loads of sand and level it and pack it down tight with a tamp. And then after we came in and tamped it, we put lime down on there so the odor from pee and stuff can't, the lime helps with the smell. And then came in the tedious part of cutting all these mats to perfectly fit around poles, and we had to come lay all of the mats down and individually nail them down with these stakes. It took a lot of time and a lot of labor and a lot of help.
Well, the kids that are here, they get, it's the betterment for their horses. And then also for the next generations that are coming in. Because some of the kids that help, they're seniors. So they get the rest of this year, and then they're passing all this on to somebody else. Because this is a project that will last for years. So this is just for the betterment of our school and for the next generations that come through the doors of it. Eli did an amazing job. I mean, he did all the stall cuts around. We have all these large posts and everything. He did an amazing job. He is very good and must be very talented in the measuring and cutting of everything. All these rounded posts and everything that he did a great job and took his time and definitely put his heart into it. He worked every day on the project till it was completed.
I did it for everybody that has a horse here and myself, so we didn't have to worry about our stalls washing out, and just safety of our horses, and makes the barn look better and makes the school more presentable and just looks better.
Eli Waystack and our equine coordinator, Heather Roden, from March of 2024. Still looks great out at the Equine Center. March is also the signature day for one of our signature events. It's the date for one of our signature events. AgFest every year, our administration calls it our Super Bowl, and it always is. It's AgFest, if you've never been, is a gathering on our Governor's Green. It's a livestock show. It's an exhibition of various artists and crafters and things. It's always a huge event. And this year was our first opportunity for our AggieMEDIA team really to get out, or one of our first opportunities to get out and do an on-location reporting for our Carolinas Field, Forest, and Waters, our signature podcast. Asa Simmons, what a tremendous young lady she was to work with. It was a huge privilege for me to kind of shepherd her in the direction of being an agricultural communicator. She was our reporter on the scene for our signature event, AgFest. And here's her conversation with the then Executive Director of the McCormick County Chamber of Commerce, Charlotte Talent.
I'm here with Charlotte Talent, the Executive Director of McCormick County's Chamber of Commerce. How does AgFest impact McCormick County?
Okay. In regards to tourism, one of the big economic drivers now in tourism is actually ag tourism. That is, it impacts us internationally as well as domestically. And when I heard from the chamber perspective that we were getting John D. Howe and the governor's school here, I thought, yes, that is the perfect catalyst to driving ag tourism to our county. It brings in those tourism dollars, it helps property owners, it helps the county to stay healthy, and it helps drive our property and also taxes and revenue that comes in to our state or into our county.
What are some of the things that you think that the governor's school does for McCormick County's economy?
Well, for number one, it is bringing in the youth and the young, which we need into our county. Our county is basically, we have more older people here. It skews more towards the older generation, and we all know that if we do not have the young to continue to come in and feed, and it's nutrition into the county, and having the young people to come back and start opening up businesses, being interested in the county as a whole, just to have it to grow.
What are some of your favorite parts of campus?
I'm sorry?
What are some of your favorite parts of campus?
Some of the different parts of campus.
Your favorite parts?
My favorite part is I am looking for I want the new arts, the center, the new community center to be open. What do you call the center that is? It's the new auditorium. There we go. It's the auditorium that I'm looking for, because we can have so many more performing events out here. We can have different events that would bring in more people, and it would just give the school more exposure. So I'm looking forward to that. But this event, the AgFest, is one of my favorite, because I really get to talk to more parts of the county and more other people that are in the surrounding area that comes in, and I get to talk to them about McCormick County.
Now I've heard of an event coming up in May. What is that event?
Yes, this is the first time that the McCormick County will be taking part in a 12-year annual statewide Ag Plus Art Tour. It is put on by Clemson University and their extension services, and last year they had 12 counties participating. We signed up, and now this year they're going to have about 8 or 9 new counties, and McCormick is one of those. So between the months of May and June on the weekends, each of the counties will be able to showcase what they do within their county about ag tourism, about the agriculture, how do you feed the people in South Carolina. Also, we get to showcase our artisans. That could be paint artisans, it could be whittling artisans, it could be musicians artisans, and so we're going to be showcasing not only the ag of the county, which John D. Howe is going to be one of our great sites. We have 4 other sites that people will be able to visit. It's the Parks Mill Show Creek Spider Lilies. It's a beautiful old historic grist mill, but in the Stevens Creek area, these gorgeous lilies grow. So that will be on tour. And then downtown in McCormick, we have the Mack Park open, and we're going to have historic skits that's going on. I have music that different artists, and we're going to have old age tractors as well as new age tractors, anything that is, talk about our ag in the county. And then also the Dorn Mill Complex and our gold mine will be open. So we have 5 areas that people can visit during the Ag Plus Art Tour. and on May the 4th. So we look forward to that being our first year, and we want to hit a home run out of the park with it. So, and we're thankful for John D. Howe.
Asa Simmons, our reporter in the field in March of 2024 at our Ag Fest, interviewing the executive director of the McCormick County Chamber of Commerce, Charlotte Talent. And of course, that Ag Plus Art Tour would come to our campus in early May and would be a tremendous success as well. Well, May brought, of course, graduation day, exams followed by graduation, and our latest crop of Aggies walked across that stage in late May, accepted the diplomas, and went out into a world of promise. And we wrap up part one of our year in review of 2024 here on our Welcome Back special with a look at the uniquely Aggie way that we honor our seniors here at the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture.
Well, I was sitting in the back of the senior parade, so you know, they suited us up with those little dollar store sprayer thingies. You know, gave us buckets of water and sent us on our way, and you know, we drove through, and all the underclassmen were you know, spraying us with little pop cannons and silly spray. We ran out of water almost immediately, so there wasn't, we didn't get a ton of people wet, but we were very effective, I'd say, with what we had to work with. But yeah, that senior parade, it was really something fun to see everybody out there.
It was great, man. It just really was. You know, got to skip class, which I'm never gonna be mad at. Went to Dave and Buster's down in Augusta. It was great. There's not much else to say about that. I've always loved signing the yearbooks and, you know, getting little notes from everybody.
It was fun. It's kind of sad because it's realizing, like, oh, now I'm one of the ones leaving. I'm out of here next year. It was really fun soaking all the teachers and all my friends and seeing them get so excited to see us, and it's a little bit bittersweet. I'm gonna miss them, but it's nice to have this one memory with them.
Took the longest time for me to get the silly string out of my hair, which was longer than it is now. I think I'll be okay this May. But thus ended the 2023-2024 school year. And thus ends part one of our year in review here on our Welcome Back special, AggieMEDIA, looking back on the past year and looking ahead to the promise of 2025. Part two is coming up a little bit later tonight as we jump into the 2024-2025 school year. We're at the halfway point of that school year now, and we're going to take a look at part two, the second half of 2024, here in our year in review. Part two is coming up. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture at John D. Howe.